Good morning. Good morning. That's a nice. Oh, that was a good intro. And welcome to our friends online. We're glad you're joining us. So I'm so grateful that we're sharing the morning together on this beautiful sunny day. It's so gorgeous here, and I'm just so grateful because I know you guys know summer's right around the corner. So I'm excited about that. So I just invite you to join me in prayer this morning. Spirit, Father, Mother, God, that which is called by many names. We come together in prayer this morning, beginning with gratitude. We breathe in appreciation for all of the blessings in our lives. We allow the breath of the divine to fill our spirit and to awaken us to our fullest potential. We open our hearts to receive the purest form of love. We ask for continued blessings for our family, our friends, our community, and our world. We ask for a blessing over Reverend Connie as she shares a message of love, knowing the vibration of her words will land in the perfect way for each of us. These things we humbly pray. Amen. So I'd like to welcome Reverend Connie.
You have the tall and the short of it today. I'll try to do my best and be able to turn my pages here. Before human souls came to earth, each made an agreement with its advisory team, its spiritual advisory team, or you might say their spiritual soul family. They were put before a committee of people that or entities that helped them to decide what they were going to do here. And those souls said yes to their invitation, the invitation to bring about change on this planet through exercising their love. When most of us came to this planet, that's exactly what we did at this particular time. And we'll get into that a little bit later in my talk. Right now, I'm going to switch over and talk about Jesus. When get me a tongue around it, Joseph ben Joseph, or Jesus' soul, came to earth, he too took on the embodiment of a man, a human being. His spirit, his soul did. He came here as a master teacher, Christ Jesus. For those of you who may not know, Christ was not his last name. Christ is a honorary achievement that humanity is possible to achieve. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. That we have this potential to become a master in this world. We came here kind of with dual purpose, you might say. Most of us have been here many, many times before. And now we're here to come to graduation, to mastery. So in metaphysics, we tend to think of Jesus as a master teacher and a way shower. He taught the people about the human potential that they could be achieved by mastering their minds and the loving of their self and others and of the Father's creation being the way. He told them they could do all the things he had demonstrated and do even more than that. We tend to think about what he achieved in his life as being miracles beyond our capability. But that was deliberate. That was deliberate to keep us down. We have that potential. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about the potential lying inside of yourself. You probably have heard from the pulpit before that we have a little spark of God Creator within us. That is our soul. One of the major things that Jesua came to show us was his ability to transform his body from one of matter into one of light. You might stop and think for a moment, what kind of a spin has been put on that in our human history? Do most of us understand that that was what he came to show us? That this was our potential, that we needed to learn to love one another, to accept others unconditionally without judgment, and that we too could have these powers that he demonstrated? He was not the only master that ever came to earth to show us this. They have been coming for a long period of time. Sometimes in the old days, they were called prophets. The prophets are still coming. More people today are channeling, as we call it, channelers today than ever before. And they tell us all of us have that capability. Every one of us, when we attune to our spirit, has that capability. I've experienced it occasionally, but not continuously. Holding it, that's the thing that's difficult, because we were never trained to. We were trained in a different form of consciousness, one that has a lot of darkness to it. When a human soul made that agreement to bring about a change on planet Earth through love, they became a light warrior, or a light worker, or a lighthouse, or many other words that have been used to describe what we're here for. Most of the baby boom generation and the generations after them have come here for this purpose, to change this world. We're right now in what is being called the Great Shift. We are in the Aquarian age, the age of communication, of enlightenment, of beginning to learn about love. Jesus and the people that surrounded him came here to begin to bring that energy, because everything is energy, to this world. Unfortunately, there was another energy that came in with the purpose of keeping that down. We tended to term that as evil, the devil, the other guy, whatever, the ETs. But remember, we create with our consciousness. Maybe all of that energy, that darkness, came because we failed to hear the lesson that was brought to us over and over about what our human potential is. And we succumb to that. A friend of mine that visited with Dick and I one summer did a lot of meditating. She was always meditating. And she came to me one day and she says, I had this vision today when I was meditating. It was like I was above the world and looking at the world, and it was surrounded with this thick, dark blanket. That is that which I am telling you has held us back. But we don't have to accept that. We don't have to deal with that. We only have to go here within our own hearts, our own self, shine our light into this world. Okay, going back to my words on the page, that those that made the agreement would change the lower levels of vibration. those of division, separateness, anger. These energies that have created distrust of others into those of love for one another. It is then by raising one's consciousness, our awareness, to a higher frequency of divine love that we will be able to bring about a state of peace in our hearts, in our own hearts. And as we've talked about, what we have within us ripples out. Every thought we think, everything ripples out through the whole. We are so interconnected. It all begins with love of ourselves, though, because we have to be able to love ourselves before we can love others, before we can love the world and be able to accept everything that comes to us with unconditional love. No, that's really hard when the bad and the ugly show up, right? Yeah. Each day it becomes necessary to the mission of the light warrior to meet situations, relationships, and graciously accept all souls and everything in love. That's a difficult practice, but it's not one that we can't do. We can. We all have the capacity to do it. When we lived in Kansas, the minister that we had there, we actually attended a Unity Church, would go every week and spend a few hours at the mall, sitting on a bench, observing people, and saying in his mind, I behold the Christ in you, to each and every one of them. It's a wonderful way. I think I kind of explained that a little bit this morning to Paulette, that instead of always, oh, you have this beautiful outfit and da 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 da, that we should see the light in the other person. When we look into each other's eyes, they say the eyes are the light of the soul. Have you ever seen a little child and the sparkle in their eyes? I mean, babies that were being brought into my shop in the last few years that we were open, these new children are just, you could just get lost in their eyes. They're that much light that they're coming in with. And they're coming in with more knowingness than we ever did. Oftentimes they have full recognition of their cache. Everything they have ever done, every experience is there. We can access that. And I'll talk to that a little bit further on. So we have to learn to love life, the hard stuff and the easy stuff, all of it. When one is at this point along their mission, they are then able to extend the higher vibration of love and peace through the heart connection to others. This is how those who came to be light warriors will change this world and be able to enjoy an environment of love and peace. Isn't that what we all want? That kind of an environment. More today than ever before, all around the world, people want peace. There was a time back in the 70s, too, when something called harmonic convergence happened. I don't remember the exact date. I think it was 1787 or something like that. People actually linked hands across continents and around the world with the desire that we bring peace to this world. Spirit heard us. And the answer is coming right here and now with this shift in consciousness. Going on with what I have to say, the golden age will have arrived on earth when this happens. This will be the new earth that is being spoken of. You know, we keep hearing about the fifth dimension and the new earth, and that's what's coming. That's what we're bringing in as light warriors. The light warriors and workers will have created it by connecting through heart coherence, one to another. This will bring about a world worldwide love vibration. Remember that ripple effect, a worldwide love vibration. Can you imagine what that's going to bring to us? Wow. Yes. This will create change, most definitely, when we can do this. Humanity will have put away the outworn low frequency of war and the need for guns and bombs. The chaos and fear, the pain and the suffering will end, and there will be no more buying into the enslavement of this illusion. Science is beginning to look at this world and discovering that it looks very much like this is a holographic world, an imaginary world. Where is it created? Through the power of thought, through the power of mind. That's how we create our reality. That's what we are coming to understand. And science is catching up with that understanding. This triumph will have been achieved through their heart and soul. Those of you that have been attending Wednesday night services have been being exposed to the work of Joe Dispenza and the HeartMath Institute, where they are finding out about this coherence between hearts. When two people come together, and we don't have to come all that close because our auras extend for 26 feet around us, and we intermingle our heart energies, and we have that connection to higher source going, that love connection. Wow, it can go, right? I remember the first time I ever came across this idea of your thoughts are things, there was this little poem, something about your thoughts are things with breath and wings, and they fly to the farthest corners of the earth. How true that is. Most of us don't take much thought to looking at what's going through our brains, our minds, on a daily basis. But it's an interesting exercise. We did this in a meditation class where we had to, I don't know, they had a list of different types of thoughts. This is a friendly thought. This is a loving thought. This is a hateful thought. This is a vengeful thought, whatever. And we had to mark them down. And boy, they come just, so they're hard to hold on to. But when you get into metaphysical learning, you always come across this idea of becoming the observer of your thoughts. I'm going to mention this little guy that's sitting right in front of me, Tony. One of the things I see Tony do oftentimes is pause, and he's thinking about what he's going to say next, how he should word it. Remember, we've talked about how words have power and what's behind words, thoughts. You know that what happens is thought follows energy into creation. So, and we've talked about how powerful thoughts are. The more power you give them, the quicker things manifest, whether it's something you really want or something maybe you don't want. Yeah. As you deeply reach into your heart center, it will open and you will connect with your soul and the greater spirit, your higher self. Now I'm going to kind of paraphrase some of what this person I'm talking about has to say. As you reach deeply within your heart, it will open. Yes. This allows you to take a step back from 3D reality and rise up and join in the dimension of love in the fifth dimension. As you rise in vibration, you can leave the chaos, the fear behind and become one with God's love as that of a parent to a child. That's how the relationship between that spirit we call God and us works. It's like we're its creation. And what it wanted more than anything was to experience its creation. That is exactly what the human soul was developed to do was to experience it and bring it into spirit. Experience it and bring it into spirit. However, in order to survive this environment, we had to create this ego and this personality, and it tended to take over and forget. We had this failing to forget who we truly are and how we were connected. It's time to wake up and remember that now. And when we can get to that elevated place of connection, we can grasp who we truly are. We will remember. We'll have that understanding. You are the creation of God's love. That's what we are. There's a saying in the Christian tradition, God so loved the world that he gave his only created son. Well, we're all that created son. Every last one of us. We are sons and daughters of God. It wasn't just that one man. He achieved mastery, but so can we, and that's what his message was, although few really understood it. It's then you are an eternal being of love, temporarily in a foreign environment to show others where to find their way to Creator's love. That's what we're here to do. When the soul has chosen this, they've taken that invitation and they start this process. Boy, what a learning curve it is we go through, right? We experience the ups and downs of emotions. We have horrible things and wonderful things happen in our lives. That's because we came here also to experience human consciousness, being in a human body, because God wanted to feel its creation. He wanted to sense its creation. Every one of your senses brings in information. And when we can do that, then we're able to help others with their mission and their purpose. I personally find it very rewarding to share heart to heart with other people. When I can bring a smile to somebody else's face and my own, what a joy that brings. And this world should be a joyous, wondrous place. Like Reverend Jay used to say, it isn't a penal colony, it's a Disneyland. It's just how you make it be. In another article that was in the Sojourner magazine that was written by the channeler, or Juliana Ariel, she says, you are ready to spread your wings and glide safely into the future that ensures peace and prosperity for all. Your well-being restores on every level so that you can gracefully rise into your position as a steward of the golden age under the Aquarian ideals. You live to bring forth your precious gifts to this whole world. Each one of us has many gifts to share with this world and be servers of the light. You align with the great divine plan of the Creator and the hosts of light to help birth the golden age of this world. Your theme now is to restore Eden-like qualities in your home, business, relationships, projects, and way of life. By the way, this message came through Mary, Mother Mary, came through this individual with this message. The time is now, beloved. Finally, the alignment has occurred. I'm sure that what she was referring to here was that we've come into the age of Aquarius, and it shows in our heavenly bodies that this has happened. And Mary ends with these uplifting statements. The resonance of evil dissolves, including hatred and wars. Love abounds. Happiness returns. People are content. Prosperity magnifies. Choices shift as clear directions and focus aligns people to their destined place, how they are to play their unique roles in this world. You are key to this grand play. You can choose to be an awakening one, destined to be a part of the glory. What a grand picture, right? What a grand picture of what our human potential presently is to be. However, the choice is always yours to embrace this message or not. And speaking of human potential, I'm going to go one more place. I've recently been rereading a book that came through Lee Carroll. He channels an entity called Cryon. And Cryon and Lee Carroll worked at this 12th book that he had written. And he goes on in this book to explain the synchronicity of it being presented on the 12th day and the 12th energy. But he talks about the fact that when scientists got involved with the human genome examination of it, that they came to a finding that only 3% of it seemed to have gene coding, and that there was about 90% that didn't seem to do anything that they could understand, so they called it junk. Well, he goes on to explain that it isn't junk, that it's actually a spiritual connecting part of us, but it's inactive in most of us. It's that DNA holds your potential to be clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, all the clairs, to have all of your psychic powers, to be able to walk on water, walk through fire, to biolocate, to communicate telepathically. All of that is there, along with perfect health and well-being is there. It's coded in your DNA. It's our job to awaken it. How do you do it? Going back to Jesus, ask and you will receive. Open the door and walk through. Every single cell of our body has DNA, from the tip of our hair to the tip of our toes. Billions and billions of DNA molecules. Every one of them has a portal, a way into that higher consciousness. We just have to really, really want it. We have some wonderful programs going here at the Home Center to help us with this. We have learning about Reiki, healing energy. We have Lynn and Jen teaching their psychic workshop sort of thing. There's lots of things. There's lots of tools that we have. We can learn about them and we can read about them, but when we don't live them, we don't achieve. And I've been at this for over 50 years and I'm still not there. It's not an easy path. And it's so easy to get sucked into that angst, that lower energy all the time. But you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going. That's the way to do it. Yeah. Chiron explained that within our DNA, that this is the core element of who we are. The DNA is our core element, both physically and spiritually. And he says it's where your higher self and your Akashic record and the blueprint of everything you have ever done, ever been in any lifetime, it's all there. And that we just have to activate it. We just have to activate it. And we do that through asking and intent. Here at the Home Spiritual Center, our moniker is helping ourselves master every day. Yeah, we have to work on it every day. So you might just find this book helpful in achieving that goal. Again, the name of the book is The 12 Strands of DNA. Let's see. Yes, the 12 layers the 12 layers of DNA. And then in quotes, an esoteric study of the mastery within. And it's by Lee Carroll and Cryon. Okay, with that, I'd like to take us into a moment of meditation. We're going to just take a minute to come into our heart center. Alma, who is one of the entities that comes through a channel that I read, gave this exercise. You want to put your hands over your heart. Maybe if you want to, you can oftentimes feel a warmth when this begins to stir. And you say to yourself, I'm going through the front of my heart center, and I'm looking for anything that I'm holding here that is blocking me from achieving my highest and best good. Just take a moment and see if you can find anything that's there. And you just simply ask it to be removed. See it just dissolve, go away. Now you want to go to the back. Let's open the back door of our heart and see what's lying there. The exercise goes on to see a channel begin to form from your heart to your brow chakra. And when you come up into your brow chakra, you're going to do the same exercise with your pineal gland. You're going to go into the front of it and ask for any blockages, and into the back of it and ask for any blockages. And I'm not going to give you a lot of time to do this because we're getting there. And then the next step you would do is to then see that channel going above your head, because you have more chakras that act like an antenna that help you to contact the higher energy of creation. And so you can just see that connection happening. And you just draw that energy down into your heart center until you have a glowing ball of light right there within you. And that's one way of clearing and opening your higher chakra centers. Now I'm going to ask you to take the time to come back into the room. Open your eyes when you're here and present. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Your heart, your life, your spirit is a bright light in this world. Always remember that. We are the light of this world. Now we're going to be taking the time for our offering, giving our gifts to the home center. So if you want to take whatever your gift is in your hand, whether it's a prayer, whether it's money, whether it's volunteering, whatever it is, and then on the basket that goes around, there's also the information on how to give by PayPal if you choose. We just know whatever gift is given, that it's blessed, and it will be put out into the world to circulate as a divine energy of love for this place and for others and for our world. And it will come back unto us 100-fold to help us with all that we need, all that we desire, and all that we love in this life. And so it is. Amen. So as the basket's going around, I'm going to invite Reverend Jennifer back up, and she's going to give us a little inspiration in prayer.
Thank you, Connie. What a lovely message. Thank you. Thank you. And just a little reminder as the basket goes around, again, we're at Rasani today. So if you haven't been down there, it's so much fun. We're really excited that we had 3 booths this year. So it's we have a big presence there. So it's beautiful. So this morning, I would like to share. I went to our bookshelf and just wanted something to um, share. And so this book popped out, and I opened it up, and it's a declaration of love. So I thought that was really beautiful, just to kind of go into alignment with, or be in alignment with, Reverend Connie's message. So it says, so the book is Your True Home by Thich Nhat Hanh. And so it's just a beautiful everyday wisdom is what it's called. So a declaration of love. What is loving? It is recognizing the presence, the other. It is recognizing the presence of the other with your love. This is not a theory, it is a practice. Whether the object of your love is your heart, your in breath, your physical body, or your baby, whether it is your son, your daughter, or your partner, your declaration of love is always the same. It is, dear one, I am here for you. I thought that was really beautiful. So I invite you to close the service in prayer, joining me in prayer. We come together again in this space. We affirm all of the words of love that have been spoken this morning. We allow the vibration of love to carry us throughout the day and into the week ahead, knowing that each and every one of us is truly held in light and love of the Creator. Amen. And we close this broadcast this morning from our heart to yours. Be well.